Ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, Transformers fans everywhere, welcome back. LPS, Last Prime Speculator, here to bring you another speculation as always. Today's focus on our speculation will be Bumblebee, Starscream during the World War II events from Transformers The Last Night. Could this World War II scene that we witnessed in Transformers Light, is there some connection from the Bayverse to the new Bumblebee movie? That's what we're going to be focusing on here in this video. If you're new to this channel, make sure to definitely consider subscribing and hit that bell and the notification to stay updated with all the Bumblebee speculations. But with all that out of the way, guys, let's get right into the video. Numerous Transformers, most commonly Autobots, were active in the World War II and on the Allied side, though history remembers none of it. One of the Autobots disguised himself as a Super Marina Spitfire plane to defend Britain. In one mission, Bumblebee and Hot Rod snuck a squad of Allied soldiers into a German-occupied building for a success and surprise attack on the Nazi stronghold. At some point in the past, Bumblebee had a phase where he became extremely insubordinated and disrespectful to Optimus Prime. When the Autobots scattered into the stars in search of the lost Allspark, Bumblebee made his way to planet Earth, where he connected on a trail of lost relics to the Woodwicky family line. During World War II, Bumblebee and Hot Rod fought alongside allies, during which the two met and befriended a young Sir Edward Burton. After the war, however, Bumblebee resumed in search while Hot Rod remained behind. As the decades passed, Bumblebee would not come to remember World War II or particularly noteworthy of any of the conflict that took place during that timeline. The reason why I wanted to talk about this is because I think that this picture right here of ZB7 Bumblebee during the World War II times and this Starscream shot right here. If you guys recall this was filmed during the Transformers The Last Night showing. They had that 28 snippet of the Transformers history on Earth. I believe it was called a microfiche, which it showed little short clips of all the Transformers and their secret history of the Transformers. But here was the very interesting one that made me decide to do speculation on this, is that when we saw Bumblebee during World War II and Transformers The Last Night, but if you recall, we also saw Starscream in this as well. We saw Starscream pointing and leading the German Empire. Now, I believe this is more of a World War I occupied territory during this time. But as you can see, they were still connected. And where I'm getting at is that could this, in a way, still be in the same timeline for the Bumblebee movie? Is that World War II and the Cold War have been the rumors. We know World War II was taking place Transformers Last Night. We know the prequel comics are going to be focused on during Bumblebee's mission during the Cold War. If you're not familiar with the Cold War was basically Russia and the United States and the nuclear race, and it was on the brink of a nuclear war. Bumblebee was part of this team working with the Allied forces, right? Bumblebee and Hot Rod in this mission of this time were on a secret Black Ops mission working together with the Allied forces to charge this base of Nazi stronghold, which apparently was Winston Churchill's house. So this time in this Transformers live action universe, it looks like Germany occupies some sort of the UK at this time, particularly Churchill's home. So what they're saying is that this is the same time zone, right? But the thing that was so ironic is Bumblebee and Hot Rod have been here on Earth for a very long time. They were brothers in arms. They look extremely identical. Sir Edward talked about their missions together and their nickname of the Brothers in Arms. But particularly this World War II event where they came and this was under Nazi stronghold at this time, Bumblebee, Hot Rod, and the Allied forces would charge and take control. Now, what was even more crazy is that they referred to him as ZB7. That was his name during this time of World War II. It wasn't Bumblebee. If you recall, in the new trailer, we saw Bumblebee looking more of had a little cheap military mode. He had I wouldn't say upgrades, but he had different. We saw him with two different modes. The reason why I think that this could tie in is that during a military time, a Jeep would make sense, especially during a stronghold operations. This could have been some disguise that Bumblebee could take in after the mission finished and went through, and they actually were successful during this time. Bumblebee was a part of the Devil's Brigade and helped turn the tide of the war. Now, the reason why I wanted to do this video is that this mission, I feel, could be extremely important. Is that the Devil's Brigade at this time when the Allies took control and led by Hot Rod and Bumblebee, was this Allied German base of Nazi stronghold actually controlled by Starscream. Now where I'm getting at is that possibly maybe the Nightverse and the Bayverse are connected in some way. is it possible that ZB7 and Hot Rod could have actually been invading a Starscream occupied Nazi Germany base? So I'm saying at this time, at this event that they're invading right here, is actually being led by Commander Starscream. This is his stronghold, as in he's the head guy at this time. This would also make a lot of sense too, because this could be, again, where I brought in my trailer breakdown of Bumblebee being a scout, collecting intel, being a spy. It's already connected with the prequel comics, and Bumblebee has been known to be a scout up until recently, Age of Extinction Last Night, when he became one of his head lieutenants for Optimus Prime. But he was a scout to collect intel, that he could have been studying this base for a very long time. That could also explain why he has that look, that I believe it's a Mercedes when he transforms. That could be his scouting, spying mission, where he was actually in the stronghold base of Nazi Germany at this time, under the stronghold of Starscream's control, and was collecting intel this entire time. And so when they rolled up and actually invaded, he was able to transform because they were familiar with that vehicle. That he could have been there the whole time, actually studying, collecting intel, and doing what a scout does, which is basically to collect as much intel and information against your enemy and report back to your base. That way the invasion of the operation will be success based on the scout's intel. That could be actually where Bumblebee actually had his transformations, that he took that Jeep form possibly after the invasion was a success, or the operation was a success. But Starscream at this time, through this microfiche, could actually have been the leader of the Nazi stronghold. This could be his base. He could still be working with humans. We're familiar with that with the Dark of the Moon, where they actually worked with humans. That Starscream could literally be commander of not only Decepticons, but the Nazi stronghold, and he could be part of this operation for World War II, and he could actually have been the main cause of this, if you really think about it. But this is a Starscream-controlled territory at this time that is being led by Hot Rod and ZB7, aka Bumblebee. The final thing I also want to touch on is that why I think this is so important. The reason why I think this is so important and could actually play ties in the Transformers Bumblebee movie is that what if they were to rewrite history like they talked about through Transformers last night? Rethink the past, rethink the heroes, again with this micro-feature trailer where we see Starscream and everything, is that we're familiar with Bumblebee not talking in this. And where I'm getting at is this scene right here where B might have lost his memory, might have lost his voice box. And where I'm getting at is that we know how Bumblebee lost his voice box in Transformers Prime, for example. We knew that Megatron actually destroyed his voice box. What if in this controlled operation, this mission, this is actually where Bumblebee lost his voice in the operation, and it wasn't by Megatron or Shockwave or anything like that. It was actually done by Starscream. That Starscream is the reason in the live-action universe Bumblebee no longer has a voice box. That in that mission, that was the one thing the mission was a complete success, but that's actually where the mission fell, is that Bumblebee might have lost his memory and his voice box. That could explain the amnesia, that could explain where he lost his voice box, and could also explain why Starscream is actually in this movie. That it actually could be connected to the Bayverse and the Nightverse, that World War II, the Cold War theme, could actually be all connected. But it also would also help them still focus on their own reboot, where it's still connected. They still pay respect to the creator of the live-action universe, which I consider Michael Bay to be that of Transformers, the live-action universe, where Starscream actually ripped out the voice box of Bumblebee in this actual event. And this is where it all started, where Bumblebee went through his PTSD, went through his withdrawals. If you recall, Sir Edward Burton said he was extremely vicious, extremely powerful. In a way, it was an assassin, it was what it sounded like. That this scene, the amnesia, the voice box, this could be how we got to actually know Bumblebee, was during World War II. That Starscream could have been the main villain at this time, where Bumblebee's operation was to collect intel from Commander Starscream. And that's the way they can actually connect it all, is through the World War II events of Starscream and ZB7 of Bumblebee. So these two shots right here, this is Starscream, and here's Bumblebee right here. And both these scenes right here could actually tie-in to the new Bumblebee movie, of actually how Bumblebee's voice was lost, and then they could explain the true meaning of the live-action universe, of how Bumblebee actually lost his voice box during this secret operation that we never got to see. Hopefully, if they did that route, I hope to God they would actually bring Hot Rod too. They could actually focus that, make that part of the reboot, and maybe that one car we didn't know was, I'm just throwing a speculation out there, what if that is actually Hot Rod? What if Hot Rod is, in a way, still keeping out a looks for Bumblebee, and Travis Knight is actually going to be using Hot Rod? I doubt it, but it'd be really cool to see their brother-in-arms, and it'd be an excellent way to reboot the series too, because you'd have Starscream as the main villain, you have Bumblebee, a fan favorite, and then you introduce Hot Rod as well, who the fans have also been demanding to see. And I think that'd be an excellent way to reboot the franchise. I don't say that I think they're going to do it, but we speculate in this channel. That's what we do. We dig deep and we speculate. We look for the Easter eggs. So it's something I'd throw out there. Plus, I would also love to see the Brothers-in-Arms and Hot Rod connection. So I hope you guys enjoyed that speculation. I got a couple of shout-outs to give. I want to give a shout-out to Andy Murphy for Twitter. Andy Murphy, thank you so much for support. I forgot his shout-out on the trailer breakdown. I want to make sure. Shout-out to the UK, Andy. Devin Prime, thank you so much for sending me your theories and your personal Transformers book in a way that you read it. I've read them. They're absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much, Devin Prime. Aaron Lott, thank you so much for the support and you reaching out to me on Twitter. Thank you so much, Aaron. You get a shout out as well. Dread Nation, thank you so much for the support. You're always there, always giving me tons of support and backing me up in every single video and every part of my social media. Guys, thank you so much again for all the support. I wanted to make sure I give a couple of shout outs that I've been meaning to do and provide that respect the way you guys provide me. So thank you so much, guys. Also, I'm going to make sure I get on a more of a schedule. I'm going to try to have at least a video up every single weekend, possibly even 2. I want to start getting more into a cycle and a routine. That way, it will grow the channel. It'll provide you guys with more Transformers content and also help with me with my content creating as well. But with that all the way, guys, thank you so much for watching. If this is your first time checking out the channel, make sure to consider subscribing, hit that bell, and that notification squad. And don't forget to like that, stay updated with all of LPS, Bumblebee speculation, spoilers, news, events, and all that good stuff. To my subscribers again, I love you guys so much. This is LPS here to bring you another Bumblebee speculation. Peace.